The time is 7:04 on March 22nd, 2023. Regular board meeting of the Vernon Hills Park Board of Commissioners is called to order. May I have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Geraldo?
Here.
Commissioner Jacobs? Here. Commissioner Senti?
Here.
Commissioner Robbins?
Here.
President Dorhoeffer?
Here. Could we all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First item on this evening is the omnibus vote agenda. Items under the omnibus vote agenda are considered routine and or non-controversial and be approved by one motion. If a separate vote on any one item is desired, it will be pulled from the omnibus vote agenda and voted on separately. Items included in the omnibus vote agenda for this evening are the minutes of the special meeting dated January 19, 2023, minutes of the regular board meeting dated January 19, 2023, payables and payroll through March 2nd, 2023 in the amount of $1,270,367.32. May I have a motion to approve the omnibus vote agenda?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Jacobs?
Yes.
Commissioner Robbins?
Yes.
Commissioner Geraldo?
Yes.
Commissioner Senti?
Yes.
President Dorhoeffer?
Yes. Superintendent Mitchell, are there any changes to the financial reports for the file period ending January 31st, 2023?
No changes.
Very good. At this time, the board would like to welcome remarks from the public. Remarks will be limited to 3 minutes and no board response will be given. Are there any remarks that would like to be heard? If you could please step to the podium, state your name and address for the record.
Yes, Mark Alexander, 21 Montauk Lane, Vernon Hills, Illinois. I'm here today I've gone to the Vernon Hills Park District for over 20 years when I first moved to Vernon Hills. I'm having a concern that basically the facility will proverbially shrill on a vine, hoping renovation will draw new members. And the concern I'm having is with the hours. Closing at roughly 3 o'clock on Saturday and Sunday. There's 6 other facilities in the area, none of them close so early. And my thinking is that a lot of people, when they see the hours, would go to other facilities because they don't want to change their habits and what they're doing. I was sort of lazy and didn't look, and part of it's my fault, I admit. The other thing I don't think you're aware is that some clubs such as the Expo offer a buy 1 year, get 1 year. Seniors, you've increased the rates for seniors, and I'm involved in health insurance. I sell Medicare, I sell health insurance. One of the things that I have observed is that benefits for the Medicare population has gone up. So United Healthcare, as an example, offers free membership to Lifetime Fitness. You have a number of other programs that have the silver sneakers, and they allow members to get in at reduced rates, so it's something that I think should be considered by the Park District as vertical marketing. Specifically, as an example, I've tried to get the local Park District to work with Advocate for under 65 because they have gym membership programs. The average park, I say Park District, I'm meaning generically, workout facilities, gets 55 new members when they develop an affiliation with Advocate and other parts. So I thought I'd throw that out. The Bears Fitness, as an example, is one of the local facilities in town that is on the Silver Sneakers program. So I'm just trying to create awareness about that, because I think a lot of us want the same things in terms of the Park District doing better. And I think looking at vertical markets can help that. The other thing is, my wife is a swimmer, and she said there's not enough benches by the lockers, particularly after water aerobics. And she commented that there's not enough hooks for the large groups. And this is probably more a female thing, but being able to hook things up and not keep it on the floor, she'd like to see that changed. One other kind of disparately related concern I'd like to bring up. When a lot of us go to the Lincoln Park Zoo or other museums, they talk about habitat disappearing. To me, I have a concern. I am an environmentalist, and I have a concern in terms of the CB ditch area and taking away all of the area around that and having habitat destruction. So I understand the part of the park district in terms of CB ditch and trying to make the waterway go through, but I think there's a little balance that can be taken. I'd like to see more nature areas open up within the park district, as you have just south of Castle Park. And I'd like to see that expanded to other areas. I'd also like to see around the waterways that expanded, so that right now you have about 4 to 6 feet, and see that expanded a little bit more.
See the ditch expanded?
No, the waterways just south of Castle Park is an example. You have where the fertilizer, you don't want it to get in, seeing that expanded. You have a natural growth area
Yes.
around the lake. I'd like to see that expanded out a little bit
Okay.
farther. Because I think there's a balance act with CB ditch as an example, saying, can we expand the amount of natural area for animals to protect the ecosystem and do it in a way that makes sense for the park district and makes sense for the environment as well. That's all I have today. I appreciate your time. Sticking with the 3 minutes, that must be God calling me. So I'm done.
Mark, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
We've taken some of that, some of the things have already been addressed.
Okay.
I think the hooks and some of that has already been done or is in process being done, but we'll be in touch with you in more detail. Staff will get in touch with you about some more stuff, okay?
Okay.
Thank you very much. Anyone else wishing to address the board? Very good. Next item is the Community Service Award. Cheryl, could you please come to the podium? She will be making the Cook Memorial Library presentation.
The Vernon Park District is pleased to recognize the Cook Memorial Public Library District with a Community Service Award for their cooperation with the development of Sully's Library, book selections for our Summer Story Walk project, our Little Learners Preschool Story Time, and a partnership with your bookmobile and the district's PALS program. I've personally worked with Brooke Benson, Bronwyn Sill, and Aaron, who isn't here, on our Sully's Library. I called the library and spoke with Brooke one day with an idea to create a library nook out of an unused wall space we had here. And in really no time at all, the library staff was here looking at our space, and Aaron came, and they created a plan for us, and then they came by and said, hey, we're gonna build this for you. They were so wonderful to work with, and in such a short amount of time. And then they brought over the books. So, really, they did it all, actually. We put a sign up. But they've been great to work with. Whenever we're low on books, I just make a call, I walk over to the library, and we have a new supply. And our library, for everybody who works in our building, our little library is used every single day, every day. With the preschoolers, with the moms, with the tots waiting for their kids to get out of programs, and then after school. So we appreciate that so much. The Park District also sought help from the Children's Department in choosing books for our Summer Story Walk project in our park last summer. Staff were instrumental in choosing books with eye-catching graphics, oversized pages, and interesting stories that anybody in the park would enjoy. Our Story Walk project was a success. We had it out most of our summer in different parks, so thank you very much for that. The library bookmobile is a favorite among our kindergarten after-school program participants in our PALS program. We appreciate the bookmobile staff welcoming our youngest PALS kids once a month and helping them choose books to take home. Librarians from the Cook Memorial Public District also visited our Little Learners Preschool in November 22 for story times on the go. Our preschoolers enjoyed a special story time and learning all about the library and what it has to offer. Additionally, Cook Memorial partnered with the Little Learners Preschool to bring our students the Cook Library Super Readers program. The library visits the preschool classes each season, reads a story, and encourages our preschoolers to track their reading. And the Cook Library Super Readers program will accumulate in a special celebration visit this May. We are grateful for our partnership and look forward to many more projects in the future. Thank you very much.
Please.
And I would like to just say who's here with us tonight. Our director, Dave Archer. Our outreach manager is Brooke Bonson. Communications coordinator, Vernon, and Aaron from maintenance is not here, but we do thank him.
Hey, we're gonna, if you wanna say anything, we're gonna have you go behind the dais and we're gonna take a photo with you and the board. Unless you wanna
Would
say
you like to
anything.
say something?
No, I do, and again, I'm David Archer, the director of the library district, and, you know, I want to thank Jeff and his team for being such great partners with the board here, you know, as you're such great neighbors to have. You know, you look down Aspen Drive and you see all these great civic buildings, you know, schools, libraries, and the Park District with the Aquatic Center. How lucky are the citizens of Vernon Hills to have such good quality institutions, and making sure that we are working together to serve them. And Jeff, I tip my hat to you and your board for making sure that those connections are maintained throughout. And we're so fortunate to live in this district, all at behest or at the guidance of the village of Vernon Hills that makes all this possible. So I wanted to thank you and the board for such great partnerships, and to my great staff, Brooke and Bronwyn here, for making the Sully's Corner happen, as well as all of their outreach efforts. So thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dave, are you okay to stand? All right, so if you don't mind, right in between Bruce and Dave. Have you guys kind of front and center here.
Right in front.
With the flag, with the flag.
We'll be
Dave,
back.
Dave,
You're in front.
in front?
Yep. Don't worry about it. We're on his line now,
That's right. We'll be on each side here.
No,
We get-
he's gonna pull the blind down.
I'm gonna pull this blind down behind.
The flash. Well,
That'll work. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh.
Next item on the agenda, Jeff, if you could step to the podium, please. Present with Dave Brown, Village of Vernon Hills.
So our second Community Service Award for tonight, for David Brown. For those of you, Dave, that don't know Dave, and I think everybody probably does, he is our Director of Public Works and has been in the village for 30-some years.
29 years, 10 months.
Tomorrow is his official last day, so we got him. And I've had the good fortune to work with Dave since I got here, James as well. And I'm just ad-libbing now because I can go on. This relationship that we've had with Dave and the public works staff, between our park staffs primarily, is just fantastic. And just the communication levels that Dave exhibits. He and I talk at night, we talk on weekends. He's on vacation, I'm on vacation. If there's things, we text, hey, you got a minute? And he's always willing to give up his time, no matter, he might be up north at his place in the UP, doing some work, and he'll stop and he'll respond. He's a treasure in this community. There's no question. What he's done to just professionalize his department, the relationships that he's done, not just with the Park District, but all the other public entities in the community, it's just incredible. So I also want to tell you a little, just from a professional standpoint, I just admire the guy tremendously. And on a personal level, he's a good friend. And I'm going to miss that more than anything. But I know we're going to continue to stay in touch. He's a Frisbee golf guy, like extraordinaire, like state champion multiple times. And Dave is not a young guy. He's a little younger than me, but he still plays the sport, and he plays it competitively. He's told me he's registered for like 3 Frisbee golf tournaments in the next couple months. And they pay money for that, and they go head to head, you know, and it's a competitive sport. He's got these big ass hands. His hands are like a big fist, but a soft grip, you know, and a gentle grip. He's very gentle about it. And I look at that and I go, how is he, you know, like, have you guys ever heard of the sport like Frisbee gut? You ever heard of Frisbee gut? Anybody? So Frisbee gut is a sport where you just line up a few people and you literally throw a Frisbee as hard as you can to try and get it between Dave and I, at our arms, you know? And he gets beat up, and most of the guys that are competing are in their 20s and 30s. And he tells me these stories about how, you know, my hands, his fingers are all broken, and, you know, and he continues to participate. And it's like, Dave, you're in your 50s, like, oh, like, when are you gonna stop? But he doesn't. He just loves it. And he's even given back his time to helping construct and design Frisbee golf courses all throughout Lake County. So that's like one of his personal things besides, you know, fixing up his home up north. But just the relationships that I know James can tell you, just countless just improvements we've made with just staying in touch with one another, whether it's snow removal or whether it's ball field work at the athletic complex, whether it's stormwater retention. He's working with us on this grant we're doing now to beautify, you know, Vernon Hills. So it's going to be, I know they've already named a replacement for Dave, who starts next week. His name is
Chris Vanetta.
Chris Vanetta, and he's from the city of Evanston. So we're anxious to meet Chris and get to know him. But at the same time, just Dave, on behalf of the board and staff and the Vernon Hills Park District, we cannot thank you enough for just all your just your friendship and just your ability to just get it, to get that we're all in this together and understand just the complexity of making sure the relationships continue to last. So thank you. I am going to read this Community Service Award. It comes from the Illinois Park and Rec Association and the Illinois Association of Park Districts. It's with the Vernon Hills Park District presents the Community Service Award to David Brown in recognition and appreciation of outstanding contributions and unselfish devotion for the advancement of parks, recreation, and leisure in the community and the state of Illinois. And it's signed by both the Executive Director of the Illinois Park and Rec Association and the CEO and President of the Illinois Association of Park Districts. So once again, thank you, David, so much. And then we'll get a photo.
That would be great. Well, my level of self-importance and smugness has definitely grown after listening to that, so thank you very much. What a pleasure to have a career here in Vernon Hills. I'm proud to have represented Vernon Hills. I'm proud that we have such a strong relationship with the Park District Board. Jeff, you and your staff, what a fantastic relationship I have with all of your team. I'm very confident that the relationships will continue with Chris Vanetta because our cultures have intertwined with each other. We may not be able to afford all of the equipment that we need, and neither can you, so we team up together. James Kim, work with him all the time, and just the support and relationships that he has with my staff. I'm very proud of working with him too. We serve the village of Vernon Hills very well by overlapping things. And I'm just proud to be on the same stage as Dave and his team. Look at what we've accomplished as a village. When you look at Aspen Drive and the campus there and the different projects and the planning, putting traffic studies together on how do we deal with traffic. It's just been a great relationship. So, yeah, people were asking me, when am I going to retire? I can actually say now, one snowstorm, and I'm out of here. I guess it's coming tomorrow.
So if it doesn't snow tomorrow, you're sticking around?
On Wednesday, but I won't be taking calls on Saturday. So, but, yeah, in terms of whether it's stormwater, whether it's park improvements, whether it's the VHAC, we've accomplished a lot together. The board, you guys volunteer your time because you guys care about this village. So, my hat's off to all of you too. So, I think Jeff said everything, and I just thank you all. The different awards that I've received more recently from APWA, I've won the local, and then now I've won the whole Chicagoland area. And so, yes, I'm very smug right now. But you know what? This one means more than any of the others because it's Vernon Hills Park District that's given it to me. This means our relationship is everything I thought, and I just appreciate you guys a lot. So, thank you.
We just got some swag for you.
Swag.
But let's get a photo, let's get a photo.
Once again, if you don't mind.
Right in front of President Shorthoff, right behind you guys.
Making him stand up again.
Thank you for coming in after.
Just for you, Jane.
We will miss you, sir.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure.
Good working with you.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. I appreciate it.
Hard act to follow, David.
And I've got to compliment Tom Ritter, Jessica, Amy, and Cheryl, and Lacey too, so thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Enjoy your retirement.
He will.
Back to the EPS.
Next item on the agenda, we have no unfinished business. We'll move to new business. Ordinance 4-23, an ordinance declaring as surplus and authorizing for the sale or other conveyance of surplus personal property of the Vernon Hills Park District, Lake County, Illinois. Could I have a motion to approve ordinance 4-23?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Robbins?
Yes.
Commissioner Senti?
Yes.
Commissioner Jacobs?
Yes.
Commissioner Geraldo?
Yes.
President Dorhofer?
Yes. Next item on the agenda is Resolution 1-23, a resolution authorizing the Park Board President to extend landscape bed maintenance between the Vernon Hills Park District and Balance Environments. Could I have a motion to approve Resolution 1-23?
So moved.
Second? Roll call. Any discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Senti?
Yes.
Commissioner Geraldo?
Yes.
Commissioner Robbins?
Yes.
Commissioner Jacobs?
Yes.
President Dorhofer?
Yes. Next item, the Park Mowing Bid Award. May I have a motion to approve the Park Mowing Bid Award for 2023 to Julio Landscape Contractors out of Arlington Heights in the amount of $477 for mowing season 2023 for 31 weeks of park mowing services.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
discussion?
I have a question.
Yes. Commissioner Robbins.
So we're awarding this in the amount of $76,477. How much did we pay last year for this service?
Last year was about 74,000,
74,000.
and I had to reduce it a couple of weeks as well. They've been starting April 1st. They haven't had to mow till like almost May.
Right.
But on the back end, the season has been a little longer, so I left myself a little wiggle room at the back end just in case, which we will probably go over budget, but we'll get to that if we get to it.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Geraldo?
Yes.
Commissioner Jacobs?
Yes.
Commissioner Senti?
Yes.
Commissioner Robbins?
Yes.
President Dorhofer?
Yes. Next item is the Ferris mower purchase recommendation. May I have a motion to award the contract of two new 72-inch ISX 3300 Ferris mowers to Arlington Power Equipment in the amount not to exceed $35,925.48.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Jacobs?
Yes.
Commissioner Robbins?
Yes.
Commissioner Geraldo?
Yes.
Commissioner Senti?
Yes.
President Dorhoeffer.
Yes. Next is the Vernon Hills request for use of Century Park. May I have a motion to approve the use of Century Park by the Village of Vernon Hills on July 4th and on July 13th through the 16th for Vernon Hills Days?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
discussion? Roll call.
Commissioner Robbins?
Yes.
Commissioner Senti?
Yes.
Commissioner Jacobs?
Yes.
Commissioner Geraldo?
Yes.
President Dorhoeffer.
Yes. May I have a motion to open the bond issue notification, act hearing?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Senti?
Yes.
Commissioner Geraldo?
Yes.
Commissioner Robbins?
Yes.
Commissioner Jacobs? President Dorhoeffer.
Yes. The purpose of the public hearing is to receive public comments on the proposal to sell not to exceed $6 million general obligation park bonds, alternate revenue source, for the payment of land condemned or for the purchase of parks, for building, maintaining, improving, and protecting of the same, and the existing land and facilities of the park of the district, and for the payment of the expenses incident to, and explained that all persons desired to be heard would have the opportunity to present written or oral testimony with respect thereto. An ordinance providing for the issuance of not to exceed $6 million general obligation bonds, alternate revenue source, Series 2023, will be on the March 23, 2023 board agenda. Are there any comments and or questions from the park commissioners with respect to the proposed issuance of bonds? Being as there are none, are there any comments or questions from the public with respect to the proposed issuance of bonds? There are none. Therefore, if there are any written comments, they should be read by the secretary. Oral comments will be given to the podium, speaker's name given. Jeff, we received no written? As there have been no questions or comments with respect to the proposed issuance of bonds, the bond issue notification hearing is now closed. May I have a motion to adjourn the hearing?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
roll call.
Commissioner Senti?
Yes.
Commissioner Geraldo?
Yes.
Commissioner Robbins?
Yes.
Commissioner Jacobs?
Yes.
President Dorhoeffer.
Yes. Move on to reports of communication. Risk Manager, Amy Darley. Amy?
Our district is exceptionally proud to provide the highest level of safety and risk management for not only our employees, but for all of those who visit our parks and facilities. One of our goals is to strive to keep safety at the forefront of our daily operations and to routinely review all of our risk management strategies. So how do we measure that goal? Two ways. You have before you a form that was provided to us by Paderma. And this is a form that's generated it covers a 5-year period, and it provides our loss to premium ratio for our particular agencies. So a quick review of the form. All of our coverage areas are listed. You see those to the left. On the bottom is totals for contributions, losses, loss to premium ratios, averages, and our Paderma average. So in the contribution section, you can see that our district has paid $781,665 to Paderma. That formula is calculated by Paderma, and it's based on square footage, number of employees we have, number of vehicles that we have, and again, that's a 5-year summary. The losses over a 5-year period, you'll see that Paderma has paid out $101,000, $101,912 towards claims on our behalf. Those are claims that are as a result of any accident or incident forms that we have here at the agency that we submit to Paderma. For every $1 paid to Paderma in our contributions, our LTP ratio, you'll see 13 cents has been paid out in our claims. What's really good about that is if you look further to the right, for every dollar paid to Paderma by other participating agencies, the average is 51 cents that's paid out towards claims. So the bottom line is that our loss to premium ratio is approximately 74% better than all of the Paderma agencies. So using that form, we can clearly demonstrate that our district not only meets our risk management goals, but outperforms other agencies as well. So the second way we measure that goal is through an annual review. And Paderma conducts that review. Our risk management consultant will be out next week. We'll start that review. The comprehensive process involves Jeff, James, and his whole team, our safety committee as well. And we look forward to being able to demonstrate that our safety and risk strategies will continue to exceed their expectations.
Excellent.
I just have one comment.
Commissioner Sente?
I just want to say it's very nice to see you among our, giving a report among the rest of our wonderful leadership team. So, thanks.
Thanks, Amy.
I have a question.
Commissioner Robbins?
Amy,
Amy?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I have a question. The workers' compensation portion, which is the second highest, is normally based on payroll and employees. Are all of our employees covered under workman's comp? Okay. Because I know that there is a way maybe to eliminate some of the employees to get some of the premiums down. I don't know if you've ever checked on that.
Well, with respect to the contributions for that line of coverage, that would be based on the number of employees that we have. If there was an interest in reducing that line of coverage, that would be something our HR department would
Okay.
consider.
And also, I know that the rates are based on what the employee, what their function is in the district. And I just wonder if someone has reviewed that, just to make sure that the employee, the description of what the employee does is actually what they do, and that we're being, that our insurance is covering the proper functions of what they're doing.
And part of the administrative review in our risk management review is to review our policies, take a look at job descriptions. There are a number of operational things that they will assess when we do that review to make sure that we are meeting the standards we need to.
Okay, great. And is that done every year, or how
Now
often?
it is.
Okay.
It used to be done once every 5 years.
Uh-huh.
But now it is done annually.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. Next item on the agenda, Marketing and Communications Manager, Cheryl Buman. Cheryl?
Good evening. I know it's winter, but we are just about done with our summer camp guide. People are interested in it. We are going to try to get out a little bit earlier if we can in mid-March. It is on the website. There's a disclaimer saying you can check it out, but you cannot register, and some information may change until we put the final out. But it is on the website. Registration will begin when the guide is posted, and we will let people know via social media and email when the actual data gets posted. Resident registration will begin right away, and non-residents can begin registering on April 4th. Our summer program guide is in its first proofing stage. It will be mailed the week of April 18th, and this guide includes our specialty camps, everything about the Family Aquatic Center, our normal summer programs, and we will also make the announcement of the Turtle Creek Water Park in the summer guide. We have met with the aquatic staff, and we're beginning to create our Family Aquatic Center booklet. We've done it for the past couple of years, and it's just an oversized booklet that includes all of our special days at the FAC, our themed parties, general information, just everything you want to know about what's going on at the Aquatic Center. It's in our summer guide, but it's also a book that people can pick up and keep with them. I hope you've noticed the 50th anniversary pole banners. We have a few up around our facilities. We're trying, in our big banner out here, so feel free to take a picture in front of it. And we do have a little groovy package, gift package going up, so anybody who takes a photo and sends it in to us, they're entered into a raffle, and we're trying to keep with that 70s theme from 50 years ago. Lakeview Fitness website has some new facility photos, And we've also added the Kids Corner babysitting. And I know Lacey will elaborate on that, but there is a page telling all about the babysitting services that will be offered beginning next week. As I reiterated, our regular website has all of our summer camp pages updated as much as possible, and beginning to update the Family Aquatic Center pages also as information becomes available for that one. We have a lot of spring events coming up, and I've put them on all of our online community calendars. Daily Herald, News Sun, I've listed a few there. So the community and beyond can take advantage of some of our really nice events coming up. On social media, residents are sharing their old photos from 50 years ago or from last year. It doesn't matter, but we're encouraging people to share their photos with us, send it to them, and people are doing that. And we've also been going through our old photo albums here and posting some of the old photos that we have found throughout the years. And just email them to the marketing team over here, and we're very happy to post them. People are really enjoying that. There's a lot of engagement from people just talking about the old times in Vernon Hills with the Park District. That's my report for the evening. If you have any questions.
Any questions for Cheryl? Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda, Park Superintendent James Kim.
Good evening. I want to start with something that's probably going to happen tomorrow. We're expected to have a pretty early spring snowstorm. And I just want to warn everyone to please stay off our bodies of water. There's no ice, and a lot of times this heavy snow will accumulate along the shoreline and people will think they're safe, but they're not. Secondly, we've had a lot of rain and our turf is really saturated to the point where people are, you can sink almost 2 inches by just stepping off. And so some of our staff are recommending not plowing our paths due to severe turf damage, trucks being off the road and not being able to get out without a tow truck. But we're gonna monitor the weather and make a decision sometime tomorrow afternoon. Our park staff have been working on restoring many of our wooden park signs. Each winter, about 6 park signs are removed from the post and taken to the maintenance facility for restoration. So if the sign in your neighborhood park is missing, that's where it has gone. We've completed 2 playground renovations this winter, well, almost. Warrington is complete, and the fencing is supposed to be taken down either was today or tomorrow now. That is safe to be played on as soon as the fence is down. Westwood is installed, but due to the snow tomorrow, we're gonna have to push off opening this up until next week. Coming up next is Grosse Point's 2 to 5-year-old playground at the far northwest corner of the park. We were anticipating removal next week, but I think we're gonna have to push that off another week. We've had a lot of inquiries about some tree removals at Deer Path and at Century. We've scheduled about 26 trees to be removed by the end of March. Most of those trees are willow trees. Willow trees around the ponds and lakes. They just have a lot of problems. They're older. They only live to be 35, 40 years old, and they're already at 35, 40 years old. They're destabilizing the shoreline, so in a lot of the areas, if you look at historical footage, there's more room between the willow trees and the lake. Now there's no room, almost to the point where some of the roots are actually in the water showing through. And if they do fall into the lake, the bark has this acid in it, and if it stays in the water too long, it creates an issue for the water quality. So those are some of the reasons that we have been taking them down. In addition, over at the pond at Hawthorne Melody Park, I'm not sure everyone realizes there's a pond there, and over at the Lake Charles overflow pond, not the lake, but there's a small triangle pond behind some of the new homes. We have a contractor who's gonna take down anything that's larger than 1 inch, so that we don't have this issue 5, 10 more years down the line, where a tree that's 1 inch is gonna cost like $50, and then it's gonna cost $500. At Century Park, we have closed and removed the ice rink. We had about 8 days of skatable ice this year, which is really low. The sled hill, we were gonna take the sign down tomorrow, but we're gonna keep it up, because I have a feeling we're gonna be sledding all weekend. Solar panels, I just wanted to give a year-end update, done the last 2 years for the solar panel production up on the park maintenance facility. This would be Jan 1 of '22 to Jan 1 of '23. The panels produced about 143 megawatts of power. It's equivalent to 12 average US homes power for almost a full year. That's almost, meaning 11.8 months. It's actually about a 2% increase from last year. It's just based on sunny days. So we had 2% sunny days last year. We saved about 488 pounds of CO2 emissions, which is about 550 miles driven by an average gasoline-powered vehicle. And we saved roughly $3,000 if there was no solar panels installed. The information was just taken right off the US EPA website. Last, just want to introduce a new park staff member. John Ziegler is our newest facility maintenance tech 1 for Sullivan and Family Aquatic. He'll be teamed up with Tanner for the summer, who is our current facility tech 1, to acclimate to the Sullivan Center and the Family Aquatic Center. And he will be direct supervised by Dave Squander, facility foreman. Who's my report? If there's any questions.
Any questions, James?
Okay.
Commissioner Robbins?
James, on the solar panels, you said we have a $3,000 estimated savings. I'm not sure if you can answer this, but was our total electricity costs for the year? And
Before we put panels on?
yeah,
It was about 15 to 16,000.
okay. So we're saving about 20% or so.
Yes. Had our electrical rates gone up like it should have before COVID, we'd be closer to $6,000 savings, just because our rate would have been different. But we locked into a rate with a solar power third-party financer that was beneficial at the time, but now it's kind of like an upside down mortgage, basically. So we feel that the electrical rate will creep up closer to a solar panel production rate.
So when does that end, that where we can renegotiate or whatever?
We're locked in for 20 years.
Years,
So
okay.
It's every 5
All right.
years it increases.
All right, listen, 20% is, there's nothing wrong with that. Thank you.
Thank you, James. Next item on the agenda, Finance and HR Superintendent, Jessica Mitchell. Jessica?
Just an update that the district did not receive any property taxes in January. The district has received $5,597,956, or 99.1% of our 2021 tax levy. As of January 31st, the district has $4,658,000 in cash and investments. Of that, $3,549,000 is invested in 24 certificates of deposit with various maturing dates over the next 60 months. $1,001,432 is available for cash flow purposes. In January, capital expenditures were $446,366. The W-2 process was completed in January, including mailing staff their W-2 documents and records were also filed to meet the federal and state compliancy deadlines. The Affordable Care Act Internal Revenue Code requirements have been met, including IRS submission post-dated by February 28th and reporting health coverage statements to employees as well. This is an annual process that we do. The preliminary official statement for the 2023A bond issue has been a work in progress. It's something that, it's a statement that investors use to determine if they would like to invest in the district through the bond process. Both Spear Financial, our financial advisors, and Chapman and Cutler, who are our bond counsel, have assisted us with these drafts. Next Monday, both Jeff and I will be on a call with the representatives from both Spear Financial and Chapman and Cutler to further prepare for the bond sale. The district did not incur any additional unemployment claims in the fourth quarter of 2022. We did, however, receive a refund check for $2,621 of unapplied claims. That money has been received, and we do thank unemployment consultants. They support us in reviewing all of our applicable claims each quarter. We do have two full-time positions have been filled. James did mention John Ziegler has accepted the offer for the facility maintenance position with an anticipated start date of March 7th. And the other new hire is Nicole Acativo. Not quite sure if I am pronouncing her last name correctly, but she joined us in the Little Learners Child Care Center as a full-time teacher in the infant room. And she started on February 13th. Several part-time positions are open at the district. The district is still in need of assistant childcare teachers at the part-time level to fully staff this program. Supervisors have started posting positions for summer seasonal opportunities, including camp counselors and staff for the Family Aquatic Center. Lakeview Fitness will be opening the babysitting service next week, and staff is accepting applications for the babysitting attendant position. Also at Lakeview Fitness, posted positions include fitness attendant, swim coach, swim lesson coordinators, and instructors, and the links to apply for all of these positions can be found on our website. I did just mention our new hires at the full-time level, John and Nicole. They will be the first 2 employees to experience the Peer Supporter Program the district is piloting. The Peer Supporter Program was created as a resource for building relationships and retention. We came up with this plan through the strategic plan that the district developed. The full-time new hire is paired with a current full-time new employee who we call a peer supporter that will meet throughout the year to build support and relationships. Through this purpose, we're hoping to build a culture of cohesion and respect within our workplace that kicks off immediately once they are onboarded and hired. That concludes my report unless there are any questions.
Any questions for Commissioner Robinson?
I do have one question, Jessica. After you meet with Moody's next week, if we can get an idea of what interest we're going to have to pay on the bonds compared to the interest that we had to pay last year on the bond sales.
You won't know that until the sale
Right.
in
Right.
3 weeks.
In how many weeks?
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Oh,
after the
okay.
sale.
And just to clarify, next week it's a conference call with Chapman and Cutler and Spear Financial, so it wouldn't be Moody's.
Okay. Then whenever the sales are.
Thank you very much, appreciate it. Next item on the agenda, Facility Manager Lacey Marinig.
Good evening. Facility attendance for January 2023 was 7,884 visits. Of those, 947 were unique visits. Monthly and annual memberships currently total 1,144 memberships. Lakeview was supposed to be hosting an FM section meeting for IPRA tomorrow, but with the incoming storm, it was decided to cancel that meeting. So we will be rescheduling that for sometime in the 3rd quarter. So it actually probably works out better because then the patio will be finished. So we will be able to give a complete tour to everybody who comes to that meeting. So it was going to be the board meeting and a fitness center committee meeting and an aquatics roundtable. So we will reschedule that for probably July or August. The spring group exercise schedule kicks off on March 5th, which is this Sunday. We have 2 new classes added to the schedule. The first being a lunchtime stretch meditation and yoga combination, and the second is a 6 a.m. kettlebell class. And that class will begin early April. Vino in Vinyasa was a pop-up program that we had back in February. It went very well. We had 14 participants, which was considered a full class. Feather Glass provided the wine, and Ma and Pa's Candy provided the chocolate. And we'd like to thank JT Ortho for the sponsored funds to help make that a success. Try Your Luck is an indoor triathlon that's coming up on March 11th. All 3 events are completed indoors. And rather than being a distance that you are trying to achieve, it is done for time. And the distance that you cover within that time gives you points for your final, for awards at the end. And this is meant to be an inclusive event for all fitness levels and all racing abilities. As has been mentioned a couple times, the Kids Corner babysitting service at Lakeview is set to open on Monday. This service has been on hold since the start of the pandemic, so we're really excited to bring this back. This allows parents who have young children from the age of 6 months to 10 years to bring in their children for babysitting services for up to 2 hours. And that concludes my report, unless there's any questions.
Any questions for Lacey? Commissioner Sente.
With Mr. Alexander coming in today and mentioning the comment about Sunday, it brought up 2 questions for me. One is, do you have other members coming to you asking about extended hours from what we have current on Sunday? And second question is, do we have a way for them, an easy way for them to make suggestions, like a suggestion box, or do they just walk up to you?
Both.
Yes.
Yes. So they, we have had a few requests for extended hours on the weekends. So some of the requests come from the same people over and over. But to answer your question, yes, we do have a suggestion box and people do utilize that. So we get comments that way. A lot of people put their questions or comments in the suggestion box anonymously. So we like to encourage people to leave their contact information so we can follow up. Every comment that somebody does fill out their information, we do follow up and provide a response to those comments and suggestions. But if people don't put that down, there's no way for us to follow up.
Thank
So,
you.
So we used to have a board at Lakeview that had questions and comments. You know, how can we get rid of that? Just out of curiosity.
We didn't advertise all of the comments. Some of them were, some people would put comments about people in particular, so we would pull those out.
I understand that.
But really, some of it was very repetitive, some of
Okay.
it just kind of fueled, like, yeah, why don't you do that? Instead of us just kind of addressing it with that person, we found it to be more productive to just
Okay,
respond to the
perfect.
person directly.
Good answer, thank you. Any other questions? Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda, Recreation Superintendent Tom Ritter.
This time of year, we usually have two parent-child events. One that we just completed, or just the two of us dance, and it was sold out with about 230 people, very successful. And I mention it because next week, on Friday the 10th of March, we have You're My Superhero, where boys dress up as superheroes, and they bring their role models as well, and the same thing, we have a DJ, games, activities, ice cream. So that one still has a few openings, so if people are interested, there's time to sign up for You're My Superhero. It'll be held from 6:30 to 8:30 next Friday here at the Sullivan Center. Start planning for egg hunts. It's almost that time of year as well. Weather, keeps the grass nice and dry for us. Those events will be taking place on March 31st and April 1st. And there's openings for all of them at this point. But basically on Friday evening, March 31st, over at Kids Castle, we do a flashlight egg hunt for 8 to 12-year-olds. And then Saturday morning on April 1st, we'll have egg dashes for 1 to 8-year-olds, as well as we do a doggy egg hunt at 9 a.m. So if any of those interest anybody, come on and register. Again, there's availability for all of them at this point. So look forward to seeing you out there as we turn into April. Same thing, our adult softball leagues, starting to talk about outdoor activities again, which is kind of nice. Softball starts in early May. Registration for resident teams starts on March 20th. And the deadline to register is April 10th. We have men's leagues and we have co-rec softball leagues that play. And the information regarding those leagues becomes available on Monday, March 6th. You can get that information online or here at the Sullivan Center. We just started our lottery for our community gardens. The lottery takes place from March 1st to March 31st for residents. That is done online. Once we go through that lottery at the end of March, we have about a 10-day window, and then beginning April 12th, the available spots will be available for non-residents or anybody who missed the lottery. We have 3 locations. We have Century Park near the boat docks, Century Park at the north end on Indianwood Drive, and Hartman Park. So if anyone's interested, it's a $50 fee, of which 15 of that is returned if you clean up your plot at the end of the year. It's more of a deposit. So we usually do sell out of community garden plots as well. So I encourage people to get in the lottery if they're interested. Cheryl already touched on camp about registration and the information coming out, but I just wanted people to know that we are going to be doing weekly camps again. Camps start the week of June 5th and they run until August 4th. We normally do 8 weeks, and then at the end we do something called Last Blast, which is just a week or two of less people usually do camp at that time of year, so we kind of consolidate them into one camp. But this year we're going to actually do 9 full weeks of camp, so there's only going to be 1 week of Last Blast at the end. We do offer extended care as well for our camps, so a typical day camp runs from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m., and if you're interested in extended care, it goes from 3 to 6 p.m. here at the Sullivan Center. So we have a pretty solid schedule for families. And then finally, we have a new special event coming up I just wanted to promote. On Thursday, April 6th, here at the Sullivan Center, we're going to be offering Puzzle Palooza. Basically, it's a team of 2 to 4 people. They come together and everybody gets the same 500-piece puzzle. It's not intended to be a race, it's supposed to be a relaxed environment, but the winners are the winners. So, yeah, there'll be a little bit of rolling up the sleeves. But yeah, you all do the same puzzle, there'll be some music and some ice cream and snacks, and then, yeah, winners get prizes. So just a nice night out at the Park District. So if you're interested, get just a couple people together, and again, that is on Thursday, April 6th. Did you want to sign up, or did you have a question?
Actually, I went online to register for this, and it says 18 plus. Is that accurate?
I don't. Do you remember, Cheryl? You put me on the spot. It's a great question. I didn't think
It's
so.
where I looked, because I was going to sign
It
up my
does say
family
18.
to participate, and then I noticed it said 18 plus, and I didn't know if that was accurate or not.
This is not an alcohol event,
Okay.
like our pub trivia. So I will go out on a limb and say, no, it's not 18 plus.
Okay.
You can bring children to this event.
Okay.
Good catch. We'll fix that if it does say that.
Better check with Jack first.
Anything else?
Any questions for Tom? Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda, Executive Director Jeff Bushrow.
So I'm gonna just back up on, I know the question of what's up with the hot tub, right? Wondering about, James, you wanna give an update on that with the part?
So we've been waiting on an electrical switch being made in Mexico, and it is shipping, and we should have it next week.
Don't tease
If
me.
there's, well, I mean, it's all based on the shipping, and it's not a big part, so if it was a giant pallet, it would be easier to track, but some of these little parts get shipped around from trucking company to trucking company, so our contractor is tracking it.
Thank you.
I hope that answers, yes. Thank you for coming tonight, President Durhofer, who just endured some recent surgery and made it here a day later. You are a trooper, Dave. I don't know that I would have done that, but hopefully you're not in too much pain.
We're okay.
You didn't sit through our budget workshop. I needed some pain medication after that. Yeah. Great news that we got from IDNR yesterday with our grant for $566,000 in change for Hartman Park improvements. So we're excited about that. That project is we're probably spring of '24. We've got, some things we got to get through with Lakeview, and then we've got, obviously, the spray ground project that'll kick off in late summer and fall. So we'll be working with, just our team and getting that issue out. But for those that are watching or interested at home, the improvements that are scheduled for Hartman Park is a new accessible playground with a pour-in-place surface, a new butterfly garden. That's a brand new. We're talking about relocating and potentially adding some community plot gardens. Both parking lots on both ends, the north and south end of the property, that are going to be completely renovated. Redoing our walk path around the property. A new basketball court, outdoor basketball court. It's a half court. And then there's our large picnic shelter. We're re-roofing that, and so a lot of really important. Am I missing anything, James? I think
No,
that
you
was
hit everything.
Yeah, thanks. So that budget was just shy of 1.2 million. It was 1.1 million, and so this is a 50-50 grant. So our obligation is the balance of that. So hopefully a year from now, when we get these bids and I'm standing before you, that everything is still compliant there. Or we may have to move things around a little bit. We had our first budget workshop prior to this meeting, so our second one will be on March 23rd, 3 weeks from tonight, which is our next board meeting, and that'll be a 5 p.m. Budget workshop, so just making sure you got that. We gone through and vetted our recent spray ground bid results, and we'll continue to work on that and hopefully have an award recommendation for you 3 weeks for tonight with keeping that project moving. Tomorrow morning, I know a couple of the commissioners are scheduled to attend the IEPD legislative breakfast at the Gurnee Park District. It starts promptly at 8:30. It's about a 90-minute, typically, sometimes less. So, let me know if you have any issues with that, but I know a couple commissioners are going, and James and I are gonna attend as well on the staff. Dave, I'm not sure what but it's fine.
We'll see how tonight goes. We'll see how tonight goes.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. Our community survey, at your dais, you have a schedule of the times that you agreed to meet with Jared Scheineman on Friday, the 24th. So I just did it in blocks, figured he probably needs 30 minutes with you live. If you can't, I know some board members are gonna meet with him or talk to him over the phone. He's gonna be here that whole day, and part of his arrangement with us is that's just one stop. He's got multiple stops that he's gonna come visit, do some surveying of the parks. A lot of the staff are gonna be doing that as well, but our timeline is really to get the survey live about the first week in May. So we'll have all of pretty much April to put the survey together with, what we would feel are permissible or agreeable questions that we want on the survey. If you have specific questions that you'd like to just even introduce for him to format before your individual meeting with him, you can send those right through that portal, and Jared will have that in advance. So just even specific topics that you feel like might be of general interest. And then, along the lines of Lakeview, I know we talked about the hot tub, but our HVAC units are shipped, scheduled to arrive next week. So we're working on just a time frame to install those. Those are a couple units that were outstanding. We ordered those back in last May, and they're coming, now. So that'll help a lot with just getting the office and training room open, as well as some of the existing addition that we did. And then lastly, just an update on the grant, the park grant, and the outstanding reimbursement that still is scheduled. So I shared with you that Lauterbach and Amen, our auditors, they cannot sign off on the advancement to IDNR until the project is completely done. And that includes all of any of the percentage that we held back. And we usually do about 10% that we hold until the project's complete. So we're waiting till everything's complete, which is this wrap roof that you see. If you drive by Lakeview now, you'll see they're doing kind of that exterior soffit. They're doing that work with the weather. It's been pretty conducive. Obviously, the hot tub, and then we've got these HVAC units. So our anticipated completion date would be sometime about a month from now. And so then we would obviously look to Lauterbach and Amen. They're gonna wait till we pay the final payout to Camosi for the project. So we'll look to do that probably at our April board meeting. And so by the time we push everything out, it's expected it'll probably be like June before that final payment, which is about $1.3 million that's still owed to us on that grant. So that's kind of a nutshell what's happening with Lakeview.
Any questions? Commissioner Sente?
When we have the meeting with Jared, are there questions that he has for us or topics that we should think of ahead of time, or he just, we'll have it all up here and, is he gonna send something out to us?
What he would send in advance is just kind of the standard questions that you might see on a survey with gender, what if you want to choose and put that your gender, your age, what neighborhood you're in, and things of, do you use our parks? What parks do you use? Just really, I think, Carol, low level, low-hanging fruit questions that you would want to just get as generic information or data. I'm looking at more like really hard, specific questions of relative to our future needs.
So he's meeting with us for us to suggest questions we want to be sure and put on. I wasn't even sure what he was, I thought he was maybe even asking, you know, of our thoughts. So that's specifically what we should be thinking of. Thanks.
Yeah, think
Okay.
about, yeah, thank you, good question, and I think that's, you know, pertinent to all of you, you know, to come in if there's specific things that you want to see asked. Now, I will say that, and just that, you know, Dave might have one question about something that the four of you don't really care, and so his, you know, his effort then, as a facilitator of the survey, is to get consensus on what you want to put in there. You know, like most surveys, you know, it's online, you don't want this thing to be, you know, you don't want this thing to be more than 10 minutes of people's
Sure.
time, you're gonna lose them. So typically in that, you know, no longer like that 7 to 8 minute period, so we really wanna be succinct in the questions we wanna put forward to the community to gather what data we'd like to see for future.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Another question, Commissioner Geraldo.
Same topic, but do we have access to, if everybody else would like to see it, the last survey that was done and the results, the questions and the results, so we could just?
Yeah, so on our website.
On the
you
website,
can-
got it, perfect, okay.
And Janice, if there's something that you want more detail, because on the website is Jared's final presentation to the board,
Okay,
okay? So you're gonna have, there, let's say, you know, there might have been 200 individual responses on things, and what he did is he just honed it in and said, I'm only gonna use, you know, a percentage because a loud percentage wanted, you know, synthetic ball fields or something as a, you know, and then he just put that in, but there might be 16 people that said that. I can provide that hard copy, but if you go to the website, it's on there.
I'll look, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Next is Commissioner Committee reports and communication. We have none. Board correspondence, we have none. So we'll finish up with Commissioner comments. Commissioner Robbins,
Nothing this evening.
Commissioner Geraldo,
Nothing on my end.
Commissioner Jacobs,
Nothing for me, thanks.
Commissioner Sente.
Just glad you're here and doing well.
Thank you. And from myself, nothing. So thank you all very much. Oh,
Just quickly, I did
Yes,
text
Mr.
Jeff,
Ritter.
and he responded already that that is an all ages puzzle palooza.
for all ages puzzle party. We'll get that addressed on the website.
I know.
Perfect. And with that, could I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Jacobs? Yes. Commissioner Robbins?
Yes.
Commissioner Geraldo?
Yes.
Commissioner Senti?
Yes.
President Dorhoff?
Yes, it is 12 minutes after 8 o'clock, and we are adjourned.
I tried to pull it up.